Hey everybody, I'm back this week to do something sweet and fun. We're gonna make caramels in the microwave, so let's dive right into this. You're gonna need a pretty large bowl. I tend to go for a batter bowl because you want this to be a deep microwavable bowl that you can pour out of. And what you're gonna do is start out with 1/4 cup of butter. Plop that on in there. We're gonna do this for a minute. We wanna get our butter melted so that everything incorporates. This is a pretty fast moving recipe because it's caramel, and when it's liquid it's really hot, but it firms up really fast, so you're going to be pouring it into your molds really quick. And like I said, we use a deep batter bowl just because you're heating up sugar and everything, so it does bubble up. But using a batter bowl like this, really, I think it was $2 at the dollar store, so they're easy to get. It's really the ideal container for doing this. Okay, so when this is melted, we're going to be adding brown sugar, white sugar, light Karo syrup, and sweetened condensed milk. Oh, jingle ball. I'm like, what are we here? Yeah, with the jingle ball. So after a minute, when your butter is melted, you're going to get that out. And you're going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 cup of white sugar. Let me set that out of the way. 1/2 cup of the light Karo syrup. I told my mom I'm going to order a new bottle because I've made the recipe a couple times testing it, so I've used almost the whole bottle. Most of your measurements are 1/2 cup. 1/2 cup of the brown sugar, 1/2 cup of the white sugar, 1/2 cup of the Karo syrup. Scrape that all out of there. And 1/2 cup of regular sweetened condensed milk. I tried making this with a flavored sweetened condensed milk. Thought that might give my caramels an extra kick. Don't do it. Totally messes with the consistency. It gets a darker brown color, which is nice, but it just does not set up. They're terrible. Tastes great, look terrible. Okay. So give that a good stir. Get everything nice and incorporated. And now we're going to pop this in for 2 minutes. You're going to be doing it a total of 6 minutes, keeping a close eye on it so that it doesn't bubble up too far. But we do it 2 minutes at a time because it needs a good stir in between. What I do while I'm waiting there is I use silicone molds to make my caramels because you can make them into fun shapes. You can use your regular little mini muffin tin, mini silicone muffin pan, and just make little round caramels. But of course, me being me, with making my custom chocolates and everything, I have the fun silicone molds. Because when this is done after the 6 minutes, we put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we work fast because these really, like I said, firm up pretty quick. Have my couple different kinds of molds here. I'm going to dry this one off a little more. I washed it, so I want them dry for when I do this. Okay. It's like Tetris with chocolate molds. And that's how simple this recipe is. It's just all your sugars and syrups. 6 minutes. Pour into your molds and pop them in the fridge. I like to put, when I get them in the molds, I like to put like a sprinkling of like salt on top to give it that salty caramel taste. I like to use my Himalayan pink salt or my new Hawaiian black salt. Looks funny, tastes amazing. I've seen people do this and put bacon crumbles on it, or even in their silicone pans, put like nuts and pretzels and pour the caramels over top. You can do so much with this. Okay, time for our first stir. Be careful because this is definitely going to start to get hot. I'm not going to lean it over to show you. Okay, quick stir. Back in. Okay, now we're starting our second 2 minutes, so we're starting 4 minutes. Quick note. Well, not a quick note, but if you like, I actually have a new t-shirt this week. But I won this in a Facebook giveaway from a really cool artist, Manos Pd. Yay, I love your stuff. I've worn one of his shirts before. I have the Monty Python one about the killer rabbit. Oh, that shirt. But yeah, you can see how cool it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will say your name again in the comments. Or description. Sometimes I always search for the right word. Okay, so you start putting stuff away. After I get these all poured in the molds, I will show you what they look like when they're done. I store mine in the fridge when they're done. You know, I put them in there to firm up. I store them in the fridge. You know, I'll pop them out of the mold, put them in their own individual little bag, but then I do keep them in the fridge, and it just, you know, they don't get too melty that way. I mean, if you set them out, the most they'll do is get chewy. You have to let them warm up for a few minutes before you can eat them, but to me it just makes more sense to store them in the fridge. Okay. Keeping an eye on this. Because like I said, when this is done, we gotta work fast. Get 2 more minutes after this. It's like going around. I know I'm being really silly today. I blame it on the weather being warmer and getting nicer out, so you feel better, because that cold weather really just gets you down. Okay, you can really hear it bubbling up. You can hear it sizzling. Starting to get nice and caramely. We do want to do it that last 2 minutes. You can see it's getting nice and smooth and creamy. All the sugars are melting and it's not going to be gritty. But I do have fun. I'm going to make caramel brains, caramel Star Wars ships, caramel fat Mandalorian symbols, caramel stormtroopers. I do have more than just Star Wars molds, but these are my good silicone molds, and those are what I like to use for this. You could probably butter a pan, pour this in, or butter foil and everything and make them long and flat, but I tend to go for silicone molds because it's just so easy to pop out individual caramels then. This is the 2 minutes where you really have to keep an eye on it. Because if you start to see it bubble up towards the top of your batter bowl, you can open your microwave, give it a quick stir so it sinks down, and then do it again, because it does need the full 6 minutes. I tried to do it a little longer than one time just to see how it did, then it bubbles up too much. So 6 minutes is the right time. And hey, making test runs of caramels is always yummy. You can never go wrong with having to eat extra batches of caramels. Especially when I make them into the salted caramels. It's a little taller, this will be a little bit easier. But in 20 seconds, we're going to whip this thing out of here, throw our teaspoon of vanilla in, stir that up real quick, and get these poured. It is bubbling up, but not too much. Okay. Now be very careful with this because it is hot sugar and I don't want anybody to burn themselves. You're gonna hear this really sizzle when you throw this in. Get your spoon. Stir it until the bubbling stops and you're back to a nice, smooth looking caramel. You will have to stir it for a few seconds just to get it. Set your spoon out of the way and carefully start filling your molds. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. I do accidentally overfill some of them. Don't worry, they will still taste just as good. The symbol will just be a little bit bigger. I don't know if I'm gonna need all these molds, but I figure it's better safe than sorry because you don't want to be trying to scramble for an extra mold while your caramel's getting hard. It doesn't make a huge batch of caramel, but it makes just a good amount. And I may not need my Star Wars ship molds. I don't know yet. Made that mistake last time. It was really scrambling for a mold. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it is starting to set up in the bowl a little bit. So I'm pouring quickly. I'm getting a little bit of a trail between each mold, but hey, it's still gonna taste good. And to gently pour it, not like dump. I'm gonna need a few of the ships. I tend to go for molds that are open and easier to pop out of there. I mean, you can go for a mold that has a little more detail and sharp angles, but make a few caramel Death Stars. You can see it's really starting to thicken up now. So your last ones are going to be a little harder to pour. You might need to get your spoon, or you can just at this point let it cool a little bit and eat it right out of the container. You could even pour this over ice cream. Da, 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 da. Getting that last little bit in there, and be careful because it is still warm and your bowl is probably still really hot. So if you have to get one more out of that, be careful. Might not even be a full one, but it'll still taste good. Okay, you have your bowl nice and clear. And if you want to put any finishing salt on it, this is the time. Make some of the Himalayan salt brains. It's fun eating little caramel-shaped brain-shaped caramels. This is where I like to put, like I said, some of my Hawaiian black salt on these. Looks funny, but it tastes amazing. Okay, and once you have whatever finishing salts you want, pop these over into the fridge. Carefully, because they are still warm. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, one more. You can see they made a fair amount. Just finding a flat spot in my fridge to put this. Because of course you want to put them on a flat surface. Okay, and after those are completely set up, this is what you are going to end up with. I loved my Star Trek mold. And you can just, they do fly right out of there. But you can see, you have perfectly salted. Perfect caramels. Of course, chewy because it's caramel. But please try these. You're going to love them. Check out Manos Pd. Awesome artist. His t-shirts are really great. He sent me some pins and stickers too. I just forgot to get those. But please try this. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Bye. Oh, these are good.